freeze this? Do you want to frame
Squeeze back to remote 3. Roll 2.
And she's panicking. At this point right here, she's panicking.
Suspect Buford Farrell surrendered to Las Vegas FBI office.
My husband's not breathing and he's pulling the car.
I will and I do.
I pronounce you mayor.
We're going to run the football, we're going to play defense, we're going to be an aggressive team.
The more time elapses, the less chance that the child's going to be found.
We actually arrested him and booked him that morning for 4 counts of murder with use of deadly weapon.
We do have what appears to be a fire now at the back end of the plane.
13. Can I get a mic check for TSL3? Going to frame sir 2. Can you freeze this? Do you want 4-1-13?
Welcome to News 13's Year in Review. I'm Allison McCarthy. Fugitives, courtroom battles, and floods. Las Vegas became a hub for major news stories in 1999. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look back at the unique moments that made up this year with perspectives inside growth, crime, politics, government, consumer news, health, and sports. We begin tonight with growth. From the Strip to your neighborhood, the incredible building boom took even the experts by surprise in 1999. News 13's Mark Martinez takes a look back at the year in growth.
On the Las Vegas Strip, the skyline doesn't stay the same for very long. That was especially true in 1999, which saw the opening of 3 new mega resorts on the boulevard. First, there was the billion-dollar Mandalay Bay, which opened its doors in March. 2 months later, the $1.5 billion Venetian celebrated its grand opening, and a piece of France came to the desert in September, when the Paris Las Vegas and its signature Eiffel Tower replica opened to the public.
20 years ago, you could come to Las Vegas for a weekend and see everything. That's no longer possible.
All of the hype and curiosity generated from these new properties brought a record number of visitors to the valley this year.
Las Vegas is no longer just a one-dimensional destination with gaming. We have something for everyone, and it's the excitement of entertainment and dining and shopping and gaming and so forth that makes the destination have its appeal, as well as enables us to drive over 34 million visitors a year.
Off the Strip, the resort at Summerlin and the Hyatt Regency at Lake Las Vegas also added more hotel rooms. Along with bringing more tourist dollars to town, all of the new resorts created 25,000 new jobs. That helped fuel the valley's housing industry.
They may not buy the home immediately, but we're finding that they're buying a home months or within the year thereafter of securing the job.
21,000 new homes were sold in '99, 6% higher than the year before. Home construction in Nevada is growing twice as fast as any other state, but there are challenges facing home builders.
Land is becoming scarcer, supply of land is getting tighter, prices are rising, and this will continue to be a factor into the near future.
And just this month, Henderson beat out Reno to become the 2nd largest city in Nevada, and may soon be home to a new state college.
The message here really is you can grow, and you can grow rapidly. And if you work really hard, high standards, you can have an incredible community.
Las Vegas also received its share of national attention this year. Money magazine picked the city as the best place for future job growth. And another publication identified Las Vegas as the top growth leader for the nation's economy in the next century. More people often means more crime, and while statistics don't show a dramatic increase here in our valley this year, Las Vegans witnessed some major acts of violence. The arrests for Ted Binion's murder could easily qualify as the year's biggest crime story. But as News 13's Kit Williams reports, other major events also captured headlines.
Stabbings on the Strip started the new year in Las Vegas. Henderson police investigate the first officer-involved shooting in 14 years. A kidnapping suspect stabbed the Henderson officer 4 times before being shot to death. Toward the end of February, Metro homicide detectives made the first step toward arresting Binion murder suspects Sandy Murphy and Rick Tabish. In June, police arrest Tabish and Murphy. Then in September, one of the longest preliminary hearings in Clark County history starts. The judge rules Tabish and Murphy will stand trial for Binion's murder. On June 3rd, a lone gunman opens fire in an Albertsons grocery during the early morning hours. 4 workers die and police arrest Zane Floyd. He'll stand trial in January.
Buford O'Neill Furrow surrendered himself to FBI agents at this office.
All eyes are on Las Vegas after the man suspected of shooting 5 people at a Los Angeles Jewish Community Center turns himself in here. Timothy Blackburn breaks out of the North Las Vegas jail. Police later catch up to Blackburn, his wife, and 2 young daughters. The standoff ends with Blackburn killing his children, his wife, and then himself. Former Henderson Mayor Bob Groesbeck finds himself in trouble with the law after an incident at Mandalay Bay. He pleaded guilty to fondling a woman and punching an officer. Police are still looking for 7-year-old Carla Rodriguez. She disappeared while walking to school in October.
Certainly, we're relieved that she's in custody. It's been a long, ongoing process.
Massachusetts State Police arrest Las Vegas fugitive Margaret Rudin. Rudin ran away 2.5 years ago after a grand jury indicted her on charges of murdering her husband. A Golden Gate casino blackjack dealer dies after being shot on the casino floor. Police immediately arrest her ex-boyfriend. Kit Williams, News 13 inside Las Vegas.
1999, also a year filled with incredible images like this one. A dramatic crash landing captured live in the middle of the 6 o'clock news.
Somebody has to do something about the infrastructure here. The neighborhoods are decaying.
The unlikely candidate turned mayor, Oscar Goodman, casting a ballot and starting life as Las Vegas's new leader. And ahead, a look at the natural disaster that shocked us and touched our lives.
I've never seen it this bad.
Devastating summer floods. And do you know the coldest temperature hit in Las Vegas in 1999? The answer when News 13's A Year in Review returns.
A private jet with 8 people on board and just minutes of fuel and no landing gear.
This is how it started and how viewers at home watched this amazing story develop on August 17th. A private jet forced to make a belly landing in McCarran with no landing gear. It skidded onto the runway, dragging a trail of fire behind it. Then, for a brief moment, panic. But all passengers made it off the plane alive. Television is able to bring live images just like that right into our living rooms. While many hold you glued to your television set, some hit home more than others. When summer storms swept through our valley, few were not affected, and others couldn't help but be touched by stories of those who lost everything. But as News 13's Bob Jeswald explains, flooding is not the only defining weather moment of 1999.
Everybody started coming out and started with ropes and everything, pulling everybody out.
That is Boulder Highway as they are coming toward Henderson.
July 8th, 1999, severe thunderstorms deluged the valley. The combination of water rolling down the washes and storms moving in the same direction causes the worst kind of flooding.
There's no question this was one of the greatest severe thunderstorm and flash flood events to ever occur.
Meteorologists say that most of 1999 was mild, thanks to La Nina. However, this July 8th storm was not a direct result of this weather phenomenon. In just 90 minutes, Las Vegas experienced 3/4 of its annual rainfall, measuring 3 inches in some parts of the valley. In just seconds, this man lost his life in a Las Vegas wash. Amazingly, he was the only death related to the July 8th flash floods. The July 8th flood caused more than $23 million in damage, making it the costliest storm this century.
Those dust devils can be very deceiving.
Outflow gust front winds from a nearby thunderstorm over the Spring Mountains produced this rotating cloud on September 17th, called a gustnado.
It's a hybrid between a real tornado and a dust devil, but it's more closely related to a dust devil.
As the Las Vegas Valley increases in population, the risks will increase. Families of the Miracle Mile Mobile Home Park will never forget July 8th, when their homes and dreams were washed away. Bob Jeswald reporting for News 13 inside Las Vegas.
And here is some weather trivia for you. Nearly 3 inches of rain flooded our valley in just 90 minutes that July day. The lowest temperature for the year was 29 degrees, which happened back in February. Ahead, events that could only happen in Las Vegas. Plus,
I couldn't believe that they could access this information and they couldn't go to the corner store and look at it.
We do not censor.
Heated debate erupts when Contact 13 discovers that young children can get Playboys at the local library. And the changing face of big business in our look inside the year in government as public leaders face tough decisions that affect everyone here in the valley. It wasn't even a major election year, but 1999 proved to be plenty political. From a presidential impeachment in Washington to a new governor for the Silver State. News 13's Mark Sayer has a look at the year inside politics.
Mr. Dorgan, not guilty.
Overshadowing just about everything this year, the impeachment of President Clinton.
How profoundly sorry I am for what I said and did.
But big doings here in the Silver State as well. Kenny Gwynn was sworn in as the first Republican governor in 16 years as we said goodbye to Bob Miller.
I will and I do.
I pronounce you mayor.
At City Hall, outgoing Mayor Jan Jones administered the oath of office to former mob attorney Oscar Goodman.
I hope that I'll be able to earn the trust that they reposed in me.
The new mayor quickly ordered a look at city finances, and a staff report suggested breaking up the Metro Police Department. But the department and the police union struck back ferociously and won.
That deconsolidation will not be approached, won't be broached, won't be discussed, won't be thought of.
The city council also expanded from 4 wards to 6.
I will not be a candidate for re-election to the United States Senate next year.
Senator Richard Bryan called it quits in 1999. We were there with him in both Las Vegas and Reno, and even on the plane ride in between.
You know, I think that the political climate has become much more bitter and partisan.
Just a day later, former Congressman John Ensign announced that he will run for Bryan's seat. And another big battle in 1999, the future of so-called big box stores proposed by Walmart. The county commission is trying to ban them, saying they essentially kill competition.
I think I made the decision that I thought was best for the community, and now it's up to the judge to decide whether that was a good decision or a bad one.
And that question, Allison, has yet to be answered. That's because a constitutional challenge that was raised by Walmart has yet to be addressed by the federal judge.
So, Mark, where does it stand right now?
Well, Walmart is being allowed to proceed with the 2 stores that it is building in unincorporated Clark County. Judge said the county ordinance was passed after Walmart already had started construction, so it was unfair not to let them build, so the construction's underway.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Well, you've heard the saying, only in Las Vegas. It's a catchphrase that often, well, works when describing the unusual happenings in our city. Take, for example, Robbie Knievel's February 4th jump between 2 of the Jockey Club's towers. Daredevil Dad was on hand to watch his son successfully complete that stunt. And speaking of evil, in November, he returned to where he nearly died 3 decades ago, Caesar's Palace, this time for a leap of faith. Knievel married a woman 30 years his junior.
I think it'll be fabulous. You know, it's going to be Titanicular.
And who could forget entrepreneur Bob Stupak's billion-dollar brainchild? A ship-shaped hotel called Titanic. The project hit a virtual iceberg in the spring and right now is stuck at port. 1999 has also been a breakthrough year for Contact 13. It marked our 10-year anniversary, and to keep up with our valley's growth, Contact 13 expanded too, nearly doubling our number of phone lines. And that, of course, has meant more help for consumers who have nowhere else to turn. 1999 was a record-breaking year for Contact 13.
Why did you get back that to me?
With more cash refunds, 5, 6, 7 from your old landlord. More scams exposed.
We know we've got a problem with stage accidents.
And more dangerous and defective products to warn your family about.
You have a disaster.
Another important warning included this hidden camera investigation.
268.
Anybody could forge it. We revealed just how easy it is to use someone else's credit card. Our undercover shoppers racked up several $100s in purchases in less than an hour, using cards that didn't belong to them. Contractor complaints continue to pour in over our hotline in 99. In this story, Contact 13 helped one homeowner who mistakenly paid cash up front to a contractor who refused to do the job right until we stepped in.
And I'm happy because Contact 13 did it for me.
And Contact 13 was the first to break this story about dangerous delays in veteran health care at both the VA outpatient clinic and hospital.
If I'd have waited, I'd have probably died.
Soon after, Nevada Senator Harry Reid called for a full-scale investigation by the federal government, and improvements are underway.
Waiting periods have reduced drastically.
And outraged parents turned to Contact 13 after discovering the public library's policy of allowing children of any age to check out Playboy magazine.
Now we can't even trust the library.
Now the library board is considering a new policy to prevent minors from getting access to this adult-only magazine.
I don't like to complain. It doesn't feel right to me.
And who could forget Angela's Angel, a story of courage that prompted complete strangers to raise thousands of dollars in donations to remodel this family's trailer home
and by 20-year-old Angela, a quadriplegic, a custom electric wheelchair.
And we hope that you believe what we say in the bottom when it says, dreams really do come true.
Thank you very much.
It was a great year. From the internet to innovative treatments. Next, go inside health and behind the scenes of life-changing procedures. Then the good, the bad, and the below the belt in local sports. When it comes to health care, 1999 was not necessarily a stellar year for the Silver State. A survey released for the year ranked Nevada 46th when it comes to healthy living. Lifestyles, access to health care, disease, and mortality contributed to our low mark. Among the big issues, the fact that 30% of Nevadans smoke.
I'm Inside Health's Kathy Ray. You know, it used to be that only once in a while you would hear of a medical miracle. But 1999 brought many right here to the Valley, from the latest in medical advances to the ever-evolving role of the Internet to the survival of the human spirit. 1999 brought health-conscious consumers new drugs to cure what ails you. Celebrex, a first drug of its kind in nearly a decade, is bringing arthritis relief to millions, making it the fastest-selling prescription drug, second only to Viagra. But diseases like cancer have many researchers now focusing on prevention with tamoxifen and raloxifene.
It's important we find a way to prevent it, because it's always better to prevent it rather than treat it.
Many consumers now turn to the Internet for information concerning their drugs or ailments. Experts do warn, however, be on the lookout for abuse and fraud. Some are legit, and many will tell you they have seen the light with natural herbal supplements, raking in over $5 billion this year.
This really helps take away any anxiety or nervous tension.
Jacqueline's not alone. Over 7 million of us treat our anxiety and depression with St. John's wort. A little ginkgo biloba for migraines and ginseng to boost our vitality.
Just because something is, quote, natural doesn't mean it doesn't have side effects.
And 1999 brought more than just the natural way to maintain health.
If there's something I can do to improve myself, that's what I want to do. I don't have a problem with what the procedure is.
The newest generation of lasers are everywhere in the Valley to help you get rid of just about anything unwanted, from wrinkles to glasses. Cosmetic surgery remains big business. And it's the growing business climate here in the Valley that has prompted another ambulance company to make its pitch. Southwest Ambulance wants to be American Medical Response's competition. Technological advances will continue to lead the way in medical miracles, but let's not delete the human factor. Both Steve and David received life-saving kidney donations from fellow co-workers.
Doctors save lives every day, but I'm going to do it the other way.
It's not a genetic thing. It's a heart thing.
It is a hard thing. Our exploding growth has really impacted everything here in the Valley. The need for a dental school, a heart transplant facility, and, of course, quality care from HMOs. And we're going to be following all of these issues.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Las Vegas sports winners and losers when News 13's Year in Review returns. Despite our lack of local pro teams, Las Vegas is not short on admirable athletes. News 13's Ron Futrell with a Year of Sports.
Well, the decade began with the Rebels cutting down the nets, winning a national championship in basketball. The 90s end with the Rebels trying desperately to become a national power once again. Rebels finished their season in '99 with a loss to Nebraska in the first round of the NIT. Overall, the team went a disappointing 16-13 and once again did not beat a quality opponent. Things got worse in the summer as the NCAA announced it opened an investigation into possible problems in the men's basketball program at UNLV. The results still not known.
I've got to take the NC2A test. You know, I got to do that first before they let you out, so I'm going to study hard for that test. And
the John Robinson football era began at UNLV. Team went 3-8. A touchdown return as time expired at Baylor by Kevin Thomas was the team's highlight of the season. Thomas and Mack and Sam Boyd Stadium underwent major reconstruction projects. Both projects finished the year incomplete, behind schedule. In boxing, Mike Tyson made his return to the ring and his return to controversy as he hit Orland Norris after the bell at round 1. Norris then said his knee was twisted and could not continue. Felix Trinidad handed to Oscar De La Hoya his first loss in a lackluster fight at Mandalay Bay. And the boxing year was closed out when Lennox Lewis beat Evander Holyfield at the Thomas and Mack. In motorsports, 125,000 fans showed up at the Speedway for the Winston Cup race, won by Jeff Burton, and the Speedway announced another major event with the NHRA coming in April 2000. Henderson's Sam Schmidt won the IRL race at the Speedway in September, and Sam is still recovering from a crash in the final race of the season in Texas. Perhaps the biggest sports achievement of the year came when Andre Agassi won the French and the U.S. Open titles to give him victories in each of the Grand Slam tournaments. And Agassi finished the year as the top-ranked tennis player in the world. The future looks bright for Andre. Ron Futrell reporting News 13 Sports.
And thank you for joining us for News 13's Year in Review. We hope to share the U2000 with you.